Hi, this is Benjamin from Sammy's Camera. I'm joined here with Michael from Fujifilm. It's an exciting day. This is the release of the new 102 megapixel GFX 100 medium format Fujifilm camera. We have two of the cameras here on the counter. Michael just flew in with these. We're honored to have these before many of the dealers in North America. He's going to talk about some of the features in the camera here. Michael, this is pretty exciting. I think the commercial photography world and a lot of people that thought that they could never have 100 plus megapixel medium format in their hands are really going to want to get their hands on this new camera. Can you tell me about the imaging sensor, the new imaging sensor from Fujifilm in this camera?
Sure, absolutely. It is still the same size as on the 50S and the 50R. So it's 33 millimeters by 44 millimeters in dimensions. It's a 56 millimeter diagonal. And it's 102 megapixels, and it's a true 16-bit sensor.
Wow. So this is a totally new imaging sensor on the market from Fujifilm. Wow. And this imaging sensor, is it a BSI sensor? Did I see that in the spec sheet?
Right.
Right.
Backside illuminated web, which
Great.
is definitely sort of the state of the art these days.
Yep. What we've seen from other medium format cameras when they introduce this BSI technology is just much cleaner files edge to edge. When we're looking at calibration plates and actually calibrating a sensor, making a profile, BSI technology has been really the next step in image quality. So it's exciting to see that technology in this camera. How about the file size on this thing? 102 megapixel. What are we looking at for raw uncompressed file size?
They're over 200 megabytes. And the JPEGs on this are like 70 megabytes. Okay. It turns into the 16-bit TIFF is over 600 megabytes.
Wow.
So.
Wow. And is this a 14-bit RAW file, or are we going all the way to 16?
No. It's a true 16-bit RAW file. Yep,
Excellent.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
Now, with a file that large, I would think this is going to be kind of a sluggish machine, frame to frame. What are we doing frames per second wise on this camera?
I could demonstrate if you really want to see it.
I think we want to see.
We will go up here to the drive button, and we have it in CH high-speed burst. So the 50S and 50R were 3 frames per second, which was fast for a camera this large format. This is 5 frames per second.
Wow.
Okay.
5 frames per second.
5 frames per second, and here, you tell me, what does that say? What kind of file are we shooting?
We're looking at RAW.
Raw, okay, raw file. Ready? I'm going to hold it close to the microphone, and we're going to start shooting.
That was probably, what, 12 or 13 frames before the buffer?
I counted 15.
Wow.
So,
and quiet. This is actually a pretty discreet camera. I've never really heard a 100 megapixel medium format camera that you could maybe use on set or in a place like a wedding where sound is really sensitive until now. That's impressive.
because there's a special reason for that. This is the first camera with this kind of large sensor that has internal body image stabilization. That is a floating sensor. It's not only a floating, it's not just the sensor is floating, but the entire sensor assembly is also, it's a double suspension. So the EVF on the GFX 100, even though it looks like the one from the 50S, 50R model, it's completely overhauled on the inside. Now it does still use the same pin connectors, but this one has over 5 million pixels.
Michael, can you tell me about the video specs on the new camera?
Yes. So for cinema people, since we are in Hollywood after all, the sensor is actually in between the size of the ARRI LF camera and the ARRI 65. So it's a 56 millimeter diagonal. So you'll definitely have to have, large format lenses that will cover this. There are still PL adapters that are being made that are in the works. Now the actual specs on this are exactly the same as the XT3 camera, except that this only goes up to 30p, where the XT3 goes up to 60p. Now this is full cinema 4K, DCI 4K, which is 4,096 pixels across, in 10-bit, up to 30p, H.265 codec, all intra or GOP if you want it. Now there is also an HDMI out, and the HDMI out is 10-bit, completely clean, 422.
Wow, that's a really robust video specification from a medium format digital camera. it's exciting to see what these new big sensors are going to bring to storytellers that want to have more control over perspective. And it's remarkable to see it at this price point. Can you talk about the MSRP price?
Sure. $99.95.
Wow,
That's $9,995. Yes.
That's an incredible price point for a camera coming in with these specifications. I think.
I just want to point out one of the things that people may not have noticed is that the 50S, you had a separate vertical battery grip that you would buy for that ran around $500. So they've integrated the vertical battery grip now. So you have the vertical shutter release and 2 batteries. So that price, there's no extra add-ons that you have to get with that.
Excellent. I know a lot of people looking at this type of camera with us here at Sammy's in Hollywood on the 4th floor. Tethered capture is a big part of their workflow. They really want to have that environment where, as they're shooting, art directors can look at their client or the model can look at the images coming in and make sure that they're getting the look they want. What type of tethered connectivity do we have on the camera body?
It is a USB-C 3.0 or 3.2, whatever this new nomenclature for it is. And it at this point, because obviously the camera isn't out just yet, it will be fully tethered, supported through Adobe Lightroom and Capture One, as well as Fujifilm's free X-Acquire software. And there may be some others down the line as well.
Excellent. So that's a really robust, powerful tethered connection to take care of these massive files that are going to come out of the camera. Happy to see that we went with the new USB-C standard. Not many cameras with this type of sensor resolution are using that new fast connectivity standard.
If I may, about the cards, it is dual card slot. So you can split the RAWs into JPEGs or have backups. And both card slots are UHS-2 card slots. So you really, really, really should get that, because files this big, you certainly don't want to get cheap on this and throw in a slow card, because it'll be a painful experience.
All right, so the new Fujifilm GFX 100 is announced today, Thursday, May 23rd, and we are taking pre-orders right now. So either pick up the phone, call your sales agent at Sammy's Camera that you like to work with, or go to our website, sammys.com. These back orders are going to queue up pretty quickly, so you definitely want to get that order in place. Now, we have some touch and try events. That'll be the first chance to come in, see the image quality for yourself, and put your hands on the equipment with models and professional lighting happening at our San Francisco location. That's going to be on June 11th. And then here in Hollywood, we're doing one on June 13th. You'll be able to go to sammys.com and get more info and even RSVP for those events. And if you place an order with us, assuming you get that order in quickly enough and you're part of the first queue, we'll be handing over delivery of the camera for the official release on June 27th. All right, Michael. Well, I really want to thank you for coming over here and giving us a chance to get a hands-on first look at the GFX 100. I can't wait to see what our image makers here at the LA store come in and show us they can do with a camera this powerful. And it's been great to see it firsthand here at Sammy's.
Absolutely a pleasure. Always nice to be at Sammy's.
Thanks, guys.